Hey, Michael, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm just gonna wait for everyone to jump in and
Okay.
we'll give like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Hey, Willie, good morning. Thanks for jumping on. Hey, Michael, Willie, do you guys have anything in specific you'd like me to go over today?
No, Conrad, I was gonna I hopped on because I saw your message about walking through the credit repair. And that's I was gonna just check that out when you were gonna do that.
Oh, gotcha. I'll go over it for you. I'm just waiting for everyone to jump on and we'll start.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
I just want to see you go through that briefly because I'm considering going to that vertical.
No problem. No problem.
Okay.
Every
Yeah.
vertical you jump into, it's always going to be trial and error. There's no right solution to marketing. You just have
Right.
to test, right? And I want to give you the tools and the knowledge so you can test responsibly and you can try to get a result.
Right, yeah, that's what I need. Exactly what you said.
I'll guide you through. I have a YouTube video. Have you seen my YouTube channel?
Yeah, I watched half of the one you went with Lee. Was it Leroy when you built that out with him? Is that the same stuff? I think it's
Yeah, it's
Leroy.
similar style. I have a bunch of different ones on there.
Yeah, I subscribed to your channel already.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I found you on some other footage too. I forgot what I was looking for. You know, I'm just trying to be a sponge and soak all this paper call stuff. And it is last time we spoke, last week, you just opened up my mind to a whole nother avenue of the possibilities. You know, you said don't just think one thing, think branch out.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're saying something like a website that could, you know, you can click here, go there, and offer 4 or 5 different options. It's not just oh.
Let me ask you a question. Do you already are you running your own business, or do you work a 9 to 5?
I work a 9 to 5, but my 9 to 5 isn't your typical 9 to 5. I teach in higher ed, so I have right now more of a remote teaching position, so I have a little more flexibility. So yeah, I'm not wedded to a room. So I work a 9 to 5, but it's a little flexible.
Gotcha. The easiest way for me to explain this, right? Usually it's with like a business owner. They come into the program, they want to add another stream of revenue.
Yeah.
Right. So the way I give them the perspective is like, what do you do right now? You know, some of them own car washes, some of them own restaurants, some of them own credit repair companies, you know, mortgage company, whatever it is, tax companies, whatever it might be. What I always try to advise them is take what Carlos shows you in his videos, right? Or what I show you or what Phil shows you, and apply it first to your business.
Right. Okay.
Right. So generate calls for your specific business, generate leads for your specific business. And then what's going to happen is you're going to understand the process of building those ads and that website and apply it to all of Carlos's different verticals. Like when I look at each vertical inside of Ringba or each vertical in Phil's group, whether it's mortgage or whether it's business loans on Phil's side, on Carlos's side, credit repair, Medicare, I look at each individual as one business.
Okay. That makes sense.
Right. That's why I build it the way I do. I build one website, one ad account, one Facebook page, and they're all connected to each other. But it's each a separate business.
Right.
Even if you're just running a phone number, you know?
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's how I learned to do it. That's what made it a lot easier for me. I applied it to my business first, which originally was business loans. And then I branched off into different verticals because once I mastered business loans, I realized that running ads is the hard part is the technical side. The challenging part is
the brand new corps for people. What did I do? Hang on, let me pull that up.
So like the challenging side is really the only hard time you should have with building ads is the ad copy. Right? What am I going to say? What am I going to show them?
Right.
That should be your most difficult part. Everything else is just through practice. You're going to get a hang of it. You know, setting up your pixel, building your website, building your ad account, which ad to choose, which campaign to choose. That's going to be mainly on just through practice and repetition, and you'll master that.
Yeah, that's interesting that you said that. I was approved by a market call to do a final expense, but the geo was restricted to certain states, right? But I'm only getting a few calls in, but I went back to the training. And so just like you said, the ad copy and the creative, so I duplicated it. And so I've got an additional image that I'm testing according to the training. So I'm waiting that out. So what you're saying resonates with me because now I'm getting the hang of, okay, I need to test this. So this is just a
Exactly.
practice and put it out there to see what happens. If that doesn't happen, if that doesn't hit, then I gotta, maybe
That's
work on
something
that.
else.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it makes sense to me now.
All right, I'm happy. I'm proud of you for saying that, and happy you went on to market call and tried a different offer. That's the first step towards realizing, hey, this is my business, and Carlos is helping.
Yeah, you said that last week, and that's what kind of got me started, because in my mind, I'm thinking I have to, there's not, and Carlos has said this too, but like you said, I don't know what I don't know, but thinking outside like that, when you said, look, man, this is your business. And so, you don't have to just do, because you talked about what Phil did and
Yeah.
Carlos does. And so when that's before Clayton and them hopped on, and then you say, branch out there, I'll buy your calls, but hey, go out there and get calls from other people.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point, and I started doing this like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So I was in the exact same position as, almost everyone in this group when I started, right? I was like, okay, kind of like in a hand-holding phase, what do I do? Where do I go? What decisions do I make? And I kind of just followed the path, and then I broke off of that and I realized, hey, in reality, everything that I've learned is so applicable to so many different things, right? It ended up being me doing business loans to me doing so many other things.
Yeah. It was a learning experience when I tried to get approved by market calls. I was refused my first submission. And
it happens. It happens.
And that created a dialogue between me and my person, my manager. And so then he gave me more of, we Skyped and he gave me some specific requirements. And I turned right back around. Within 30 minutes, I had it submitted and approved. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna chalk it up to success, because I went outside and took you guys' advice. And now I'm running an ad with market call. And so it's not profitable right now, but I'm testing. That's, like I said, I'm testing. And I have to gradually step out there.
You have to be willing to test. Marketing is all about trial and error.
Right.
We both could have the same exact website, the same exact ads, the same exact spend, and have completely different results.
Exactly.
Right? Because at the end of the day, the same people are not going to see our ad, right? Not the same people are clicking the call button, not the same people are going to our website and filling out our form. It's different all along the line.
Yeah.
That's why I say marketing is testing.
I think the way that I feel now is that I'm treated more like it's a marathon and not a sprint after I'm doing all the training, because it's going to take time. And, so often people want a quick buck made, but in this business, it's about the test of patience. When you first start a new business, right? I was doing it for like a month. Right? And I'm sitting here like, damn, what am I doing? Why am I not getting better results? Right? After 6 months, I'm getting better results, but my mentality is, damn, why am I not getting better results? Right? And it's working. A year passes and I'm like, holy shit, I'm getting results. How can I get better results? After 2 years, damn, I've been crushing it. How can I do even better? Right? So the confidence comes with action and it comes with skill. And the more that you do it, the more you're going to learn. I always tell people this is not a 1 month or 3 month or a 6 month business. I didn't build this to just run it and crush it. I ran this to have a lifelong stream of revenue. Right.
I can control.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. You have any more questions, Billy?
No, I got it. Appreciate you.
Amazing. We're gonna jump on and I'm gonna show you some of the credit repair stuff. Okay. While we're here, does anybody else in the group have any questions? Leroy, Tony, Alfred, Todd, thanks for joining in, guys. David, thanks for jumping in, guys.
Thanks for doing this, Conrad.
Yeah, how I like to do these things. This is more of like a classroom setting, so I don't want to just sit here and talk.
Yeah, no, it's good, man.
So let me know, guys. You have any questions? How you doing, Todd?
Good, dude. How about you?
I'm good, bro. Just crushing it.
Yeah, what are you running right now?
You need any help with anything?
Straight credit repair or
Oh yeah, I was gonna show you guys the credit repair ads that I had. I know I tested the offer back for like a couple weeks ago, and now the offer's back live, so I'm gonna test it again.
All right, hey Conrad, are you doing flights at all on Google?
No, sir.
Okay.
I tried flights and my account got suspended. So give it a shot, see what happens. Don't keep pushing. Don't stop pushing.
Good morning.
Yep.
Hey, good morning, David. Happy to have you on. All right, guys. So let me screen share with you really quickly.
Hey, Conrad, I'm on my mobile phone, but I'm getting ready to switch over to my computer here in just about 2 minutes. So you know.
No problem. Just jump on using the same link.
All right.
So let me screen share with you guys so you guys can see everything. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, amazing, amazing, amazing. So first thing we'll do is this. Right, so this is my website for credit repair. This is where everything starts, right? This is just a front end so that my business is bigger and more visible by Facebook, right? You want to have all of the different options. You want to have the About Us page, right? About the company, frequently asked questions. You want to give your website some width and breadth, because once you install your pixel, Facebook will crawl your website to see if it is legitimate. Do they have a privacy statement? Do they have a contact us page, right? Do they offer their services? It's not as human as I'm saying it, but they do have a crawler that goes through all of your website, looks at all your pictures. Is this website legitimate, right? And then I send all of my leads through Facebook into a funnel, right? So I'm not gonna send them to a website. Think about this, guys. You're spending 10, 20, 50, $100 a day on ads. The last thing you want is for someone to land on your page, right? And they're clicking around, they're reading everything. All right, let me go somewhere else. And they just go to Google, right? That's the last thing that you want, because you're paying for that traffic. You want to maximize the opportunity you can to make money with every lead that you generate, okay? So that's why I created an Act Now page. It has no heading. It's just the logo, some text, the phone number, and the form, and access to our privacy policy. This is all they have access to. All they can do is fill out the form or leave. Okay? Any questions on this? Any
Hey,
whys,
Conrad,
any hows?
just what are your thoughts on, like, as I stand up, my process in standing up new brands? I typically like anytime I stand up a new brand or page in Facebook, I like to have a URL or a website associated with that brand, even though that website or that landing page may not be active. I'm still getting it verified. It's still on the page. Is that something I should be doing? Do you think Facebook? I mean, would Facebook rather see a link in there that's been verified that isn't live? Or would they rather?
No, your
see
link has
no
to be
link?
live. Your page has to be published.
Say that again.
Yeah, your page has to be published, right? So the way I set this up is I go into Google, I create a custom domain name, admin@financepros.us. I connect that to my website, right? So now I have a valid business email for financepros.us. And then I connect that email to the Facebook page. I connect the website, the main website, to the Facebook page, and I have my call number as a call now button on the Facebook page. Right? This is just for anyone who looks at your ad and clicks on your profile so they can see what you offer on the page.
All right.
Right? But I think I missed your question. What do you mean by a page that's not live?
Well, like I'll basically stand up a URL, but it doesn't have any, it's not a site. There's no content on the page or anything. I'm just
Oh, it's just
standing
a
up
blank page with a valid URL.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that, sure, but put your heart behind the business, because
Sure.
I'll give you an example, like running a credit repair ad. Carlos is not the only person who is a credit repair call buyer, right?
Of
I
course.
have a call buyer, which is Carlos. I have a form buyer as well. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I can take advantage of both options and profit from both options. Right? Which is exactly what you want to do. You want to have multiple options in whatever you try. Obviously, if I'm testing one specific person, I tested only with Carlos, and the forms also went to Carlos, right? So let me show you guys this now. Aweber, right? So I have the whole funnel is built out like this. I think somebody specifically asked me in the group, where inner circle. Jesse Hall, you on here, Jesse? Jesse's not on here. Okay, so I have here, this is my credit repair list, right? The leads come in to my landing page, they fill out the form, right? I always ask this question here, and it has a final question. This is the most important question you want them to say yes to. And this is what makes this lead alone, the form lead is worth like 15 bucks. Because of the amount of questions that I ask, and this qualifying question at the bottom, right? Once they press submit, they go into an automatic email series. So it goes here into the credit builder series, credit repair request for, this person, please confirm. And then they get a series of emails for a few days, right? And all of these talk about the services that we provide, the price, call this number to get served. This is all directing traffic towards my call number, all of these different emails. After about 10 days, 12 days, these are actually really good. I wrote them myself. After about 10 or 12 days, it's going to go into a debt solution campaign. And then after debt solution, it's going to go into personal loans, credit monitoring, and then Lexington Law, where they buy my lead for like $6 a lead. So this is the last thing I'm going to do, and just push them over to that at the end of it. Okay, this is just really important because you can communicate with your lead on a day-to-day basis, right? When you when you're running a call ad on Facebook, let's say you pay $5 a call. If the same person sees your ad again and calls again, you're still paying $5 a call, even though that lead called twice. So you paid $10 for the same lead, $15 for the same lead, $20 for the same lead. When I capture their data and it costs me $7, $8, I have their data in my system forever, right? So what ended up happening was, I think I generated like 30 or 40 leads for credit repair, and I ended up generating like 60 phone calls. So the cost ended up being better than what I had spent on just call ads. And I could keep the lead and remarket to them different services, right? Credit monitoring, this pays $29 for every conversion. Lexington Law pays me $6 per conversion. Personal loans varies between the size of their personal loan, right? Debt consolidation pays me $39 a person. So this is another way to monetize your leads automatically on the back end. This is through email marketing, right? Once they finish pressing submit, they also get an automatic text. I can actually show you guys that too. Guys, don't let me be the only one talking. I want this to be like a classroom setting. So just ask me as many questions as you can, guys, okay? This is why I'm here. Just gonna update really quickly. While this is updating, do you guys have any questions for me?
Yeah, so these
Hey, what's up, Leroy? We've been playing phone tag for 2 days, man.
I know, man. Hey,
I'm excited to see you today at 2:30.
no worries. Yes, sir. So my question is, so all of this is set up through your Aweber? that,
No, all of this. So you have 3 layers to your business, right? Your business has 3 layers. Advertising wise, put it in 3 buckets, right? You have your marketing, your outreach, I want to say, because it's all marketing. You have your outreach, which is 1 bucket, right? Facebook. We're using Facebook, we're using Google, we're using radio, whatever outreach you want that can bring a result to your business, right? That's the part here that I'm trying to get at. You have your outreach, you have your website, which is like if you own a store, thrift shop, garage, you know, anything. That's your office. That's your website. That's like someone going to the mall and picking out a store and walking in, right? They saw the ad, they walk into the store. The last part of it is your automatic communication. Okay, and I'll show you guys this. I just got a really cool offer for storm damage in Louisiana. They prepaid me like 10 grand for 1 day. So right here, this is, let's go to the finance campaign. Okay. Right, so I spent like a grand in testing this just to realize that the the buyer wasn't set up. So big dunce on my part, but I'm gonna test it again and see how this turns out, right? I build out the lead. Let me get one of my good campaigns here. So I build out the outreach, right? They go to my landing page or they click the call now button, right? They see your ad, they go to my landing page, they fill out the form, they press submit. Here, I'll show you what happens when they press submit. Once they press submit, the lead goes to my email. The lead gets pushed over to my automatic emails. And I also get an automatic text, right? Call now for your free no commitment consultation. And they just click the button and they call now. Usually this is the first button that this is the only button they have to click on this page, right? They just give me all their information and they call now for a credit repair consultation. Depending on what time the lead comes in, they usually click the button if it's within business hours. And then they get pushed over to Aweber and they get the whole series of emails.
So Conrad,
Yes, sir.
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hold up. I got me, give me, I gotta fix my speaker. Hold up. Can you hear me now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hold up. I got something going on with my. How about now? Can I?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you just fine.
I had some wrong. I was muted on my end.
Okay.
We talked about that fee last week. You and I, is this part of what you would be walking me through, setting it up?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
If you sign up for, like, I also do one-on-ones where, you know, we can literally build your website from domain name all the way to running ads, right? And I'll help you build your first set of ads and then give you some guidance along the way, right? But the whole thing with the one-on-ones is so that you can do it together one-on-one with me. And then we come to the Tuesday, Thursday class and we have a group discussion where everyone is learning something and applying it to their business, right? Don't do this if you don't plan on running any ads or if you don't want to build any websites, right? This is exactly what I teach. I'll show you guys how to run ads, how to build websites, how to optimize your ads. That's my specialty. I did that with Phil. I did that with Carlos. I've made a ton of money doing that.
Okie doke.
All right, Willie. Yeah, this is easy. This takes like 5 one-on-one calls and you'll have a whole entire funnel built out. Well, talk to you as well, because I'm going to have you build it out.
Right.
I believe Spencer and I did that last week. We built out a credit and insurance website. Okay. So once you're inside of right, I was saying, after they fill the form, they come here, they can click call now. Thank you for submitting your form, right? Call now. They get the automatic emails. They also get an automatic text message from Twilio. We fix your credit fast. Start today for only $19. Instant access to all 3 scores and credit. This is just as much outreach as I can, right? I want to hit their line as many times as possible. If they're looking for credit repair, they're probably also getting spam calls, right? So I want to be able to get their attention as many times as I can. Just from what I learned in marketing, it takes about 6 contacts before a client decides whether or not they will do business with a company or a brand. So I want to hit them as many times as I can, right? And this doesn't cost anything. Each text message is less than 1 cent. Okay. So you can do one and you can do all of the different things together. You could just run call ads and find results, right? But for me, I always get better results when I incorporate everything all together, because what I want to be able to do is keep the data and remarket to them in the future, right? This list only has 35 subscribers right now. That's nothing at all, right? But when this list has 10,000 subscribers, you can only imagine how series credit monitoring is going to be converting, how personal loans is converting, Lexington Law, debt solution. My call number with Carlos will also be converting. The purpose of this is kind of like, you have like you turn on the hose for Facebook, right? And your email list is like a reservoir. And each of these are like a faucet. And it gets bigger and bigger, and it opens up wider and wider every time you add a lead into it, because you can continually market to all these leads. I can take all of these leads and market them to a completely different offer if I wanted to. I can change the links in here. I can change the links in any campaign and present a different offer. I can sell my leads individually. I can sell my calls individually, right? You want to have as many different opportunities as you can. When you do just a simple call ad, it works, it gets results, but you cannot keep the data, right? You can use it to remarket, you can use it to optimize your ads, but you can't necessarily keep it and market to them and import them into your Aweber. You know, that's going to be a little challenging with the TCPA agreement.
So when you sell these leads, is that a one and done type of situation? Because are you able to, when you say remarket, can you sell the leads to a company and then make money that way, and then keep your lead and then approach them in a different way? Because when you let it,
that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did here.
Okay.
So I'm just not doing it myself. I'm paying Aweber to handle that for me, right? I have to finish up these campaigns, but the first thing that they do is they're going to get, you know, a confirmation. I can show you I'll show you what the emails say, right? So it just says, thank you, you know, it's ours having bad credit, call now, right? And a little signature. It's the same thing across the board, right? This is an affiliate email. I get paid like $1 for this link. I get paid 75 cents for this link. I get paid $2 for this link. I get paid like 25 cents for this link. And generally, if you're going to click on this one link, they're going to click on all 4 links. And they're paying me a couple bucks just to get their email address, right? So this is just all automated. When I sell my lead up front, I sell it as a live lead. So it gets pushed over into somebody's CRM, into their dialer, and they just pick up the phone and they call. That's their whole objective, okay? And this is just an automatic email. This is so important because I want you guys to learn that this is what I do for every single vertical, right? So alternative funding, this is personal loans, this is credit repair, this is business loans, right? So I do this for every vertical that I run that I want to capture leads for. I really wish I would have done it for Medicare, because it was my first time running Facebook. I had no idea I could even do this and capture that data, right? That vertical is completely aligned with final expense. So now I have to buy leads again for final expense. Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah, I'm sorry. My power went out. I live in San Antonio, so in Texas we're not used to this cold weather, and whenever
man.
so I had to jump on. I lost you there for about 2 minutes, and I just got back on my phone. So yeah,
No
but I got the gist of that, and I understand that, and yeah, so I got it.
It makes sense, right?
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I always hear now these are the things that make sense to me, because this is the closest to the one-on-one you can get when this small group, because you can ask these specific questions with somebody who's already tried and tested this. So
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
yeah. So no, this makes perfect sense. I'm kind of my head's kind of spinning a little bit, because I'm entertaining the things that I could do on my end with the power of this information. So
Gotcha.
looking up with you.
That's the most important part. Like when I first started my own business, I didn't know what mistakes to make. Does that make sense? I didn't know, no matter what I say that because no matter what you do, when you start your own business, when you do something new, there will always be mistakes, but you want to make the right mistakes, right? You don't want to just blow money without learning anything. You want to be able to do like valid, logical testing, reasonable builds that can bring some sort of result, right? And there are moving parts that you need to be aware of to make that have the most probable chance of success. That was really wordy, but I hope that makes sense to you guys.
No, I mean, if you're gonna, yeah, I mean, you want to be efficient. You don't want to waste money.
Exactly. Like I'll give you an example. Why would you? Let's say you're running ads to a paid landing page, right? Why would you run ads to a landing page if your marketing structure is not set up, right? So it's like, why would I send my leads to a landing page if I don't have my call number set up, if I don't have my conversion tracking set up, if I don't have my automatic emails set up, my automatic text message set up, right? It's just wasting money because you're missing all the different touch points.
Yeah, that page would be useless if
no, not necessarily useless, but you're leaving money on the table.
If you can't capture what you just revealed to me, if you can't capture all this information, to me, maybe useless is extreme, but it wouldn't be as beneficial.
Exactly.
It wouldn't be as beneficial.
Exactly. You can run a simple call ad and have Google do all the heavy lifting. You're going to spend about $1,000, $1,500 before your conversion tracking is set up, before your conversion tracking is optimized, right? And that's just a small test. You get me? What you want to do is you want to have backup and fallout, and you want to have a structure to your business, right? So the reason I say this is because there's so many different opportunities you have to monetize one lead, right? We're generating credit repair leads, and I just showed you I have 4 other different verticals that align directly with credit repair that one lead I paid for could potentially convert for. Okay, does that sound fair, guys? All right. Hey, what's up, Chris? Happy to have you on today. Oh, we got Clayton in the house. All right. Hey, what's up, Clayton?
It's about to be all the way live, Conrad.
About to be all the way loud. We got the champ in the house.
If Clayton showed up, all we need is Carlos and be all the way live.
Awesome. So yeah, guys, that's really important, and not all offers will require you to do this, and not all offers need this to succeed, right? We ran Medicare last year, and I did just fine with Medicare without having all of this stuff set up, right? What I'm trying to tell you guys is Medicare would have done much better if all of this was set up, right? You live and you learn. It was my first time running Facebook. So that's the result that I got. But now I know better and I do better with that. All right. So if you guys need any help setting your website up, your emails up, your ads up, just let me know and we can do some one-on-ones together and we'll build this together. And you know, my main objective here is for you to be confident in your abilities to build a website and monetize that website. I can build a business and run ads within 2 hours. I can literally build more businesses than I have ideas for. Right? It's one every single day if you wanted to. And if you do, it'll take you 2 hours as well. Turn your testing time and make it more efficient, right? If you spend a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks building a website and testing, you're not being as efficient as you can. I can run a website, test it, and give the lead buyer a decision by 48 hours. Like, hey, this offer is not working, I can't run it. Or this offer is running, how can I scale? How many calls do you need? Right? You want to have that ability at your disposal. Hey, Clayton, you want to jump in and give him some wise words?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I live by is money loves speed. So the fastest you are to market, the more market cap you're going to secure. And that goes for any seasonal type verticals that you run in. So like pest control, things like that. If you are the first one to start running campaigns before everybody else, you're going to get that testing done with, and you're going to be able to lock in your campaign a lot quicker than people that just straggle into the season late. So the faster that you can test new automation flows, new websites, new ad copy. I mean, it's all about testing.
Well, you know, we're at a different level than these guys, Clayton. So what I was really pushing over to them, right, was before they can even test, what's the most valuable is what do you even do, right? Like some people didn't even know that they should have an Aweber account, or they didn't even know that you can send an automatic text to your leads, right? I'm trying to show them there's so many different options that you have and opportunities to monetize your leads automatically, right? Which is more than just a simple call now button, right? I'm obviously going to take advantage of the call now button, but I also want to take advantage of the automatic email series, the automatic text messaging. I want to capture the data and keep it. I can sell my lead live. I can sell the form, right? You want to give yourself as many options to succeed as you can.
Right. And then one of the main reasons we don't talk a lot about that in most of the group calls is most people we don't want them to be paralysis by analysis type stuff.
I feel that. I mean, that's what I'm here for, Clayton, the Tuesday, Thursdays, so that they can come here and ask their questions. They don't want to ask questions. They're quiet. It's like crickets in the background. You know, I mean, if you want to listen to me talk for an hour, all right, but I want to answer your questions.
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking a lot about what you're talking about right now too, about keeping it simple, but keeping it fast, you know, kind of thing. Like you can't go too simple, like what you were saying with Medicare, for example. Our tracking and our, you know, full campaign setup was bare minimum. Gotcha. And I mean, even my setup was bare minimum, right? I didn't have email follow-up. I didn't have text message follow-up. I had send them to a page, get them to click a call button or run a call only ad. And that's all I was running. And I did 130,000 in October alone.
That's it. You get me? But what I was telling them was we could have made so much more with that.
Right. We probably could have doubled that, or at least, you know, it could have went from 130 to 180 if I would have put proper automation in. But it was kind of like I put myself in the shoes of someone just starting. And that's what I always try to do, is put myself into shoes, like, you know, put myself into, like, I don't think, is Willie still on this call?
Yeah,
Willie. Yeah, like
Yeah.
Willie, you know, he's just getting started. He's learning and everything like that. Like if I told Willie to build out a Medicare campaign with him not really knowing all of the processes that you can do and set up, like how would I go and and approach Willie and say, hey, this
Yeah,
is
like
how
the
you're going to do
easiest-
it. You know,
The easiest way in would just be build the ad and generate the calls. You know, that's like the
Right.
easiest way in.
It-
You're right.
it's kind of like I always tell my son who plays soccer, it's all about the basics, right? Yeah, the fancy passes and no look behind the back shots, like that's cool,
Exactly.
right? But you're not going to do that in the game all the time. What you're going to do in the game is the basics, ball
Exactly.
touching,
Exactly.
easy passes, you know, things like that. And it's the same with marketing, right? Yeah, there's the fancy stuff, there's the automations, the chat bots, the dynamic keyword insertion into your ads and into your ad copy and into your website and
Oh,
pulling
now you're talking-
parameters
now you're
out.
talking Chinese to, now you're talking Chinese to me too, bro.
Right. So there's like all this fancy stuff you can do, right? Like level expert, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what makes you successful. That just puts you over, that just adds a couple zeros to the bottom line, right?
Exactly.
It's not gonna make or break your campaign. If you can be really good at the basics, and the basics being I can put up a website, I can put together an ad, and I can throw it up on a platform and test it all within a day.
That is amazing.
Now you got the basics down. You're not struggling. You're not thinking of like, oh, what's the best niche? You know, what's making the most money? It's like, hey, this niche looks pretty popular because everybody in Slack groups or Skype groups and Facebook groups are all saying they want to buy these calls. And you don't see too many people saying, I'm selling these calls. So either one, it's not a profitable market, or two, there's nobody servicing that market good enough. So that's an opportunity for you to go in there and actually see if you can grab that market a little bit by throwing up a site, throwing up some ads, putting it all together and having it launched by the end of the day. Like if you can do it full time. Obviously, a lot of people aren't full time.
Yeah, that's also true. You're
so
right.
they have like an hour or two after work. But you look at Chris Hubbs, right, in the group. He works 12-hour days. He comes home at the end of the day, works on his campaigns for an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we all know he's making pretty good money doing this.
Chris Hubbs wants it. You know, Chris Hubbs wants it. And
he just follows the basics.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like he
But I've
follows,
been in
like
that
we
position.
tell him do this, he does it.
This.
To the
That's
T.
really what's most important, guys. Like you want the reason that Clayton is here, the reason that Carlos is here, the reason that I'm here. You have multiple people here. You have Chris Hubbs who's doing it. You have Spencer who's doing it, right? You have David who's done it. This is the whole purpose of having a support group like this, right? We're all here to learn together and to grow together. That's why I decided, you know, I could go to the range right now and shoot some trap and ski. You know, I could be doing something else right now, but I really want to do this with you guys every Tuesday and Thursday that I can, to show you guys what is possible in this industry, and not just specifically related to unique media or to Phil Smith, right? I want you guys to see the potential behind learning how to make money online, right? When I first started, I was married to one vertical, business loans, right? And I had a bunch of different email chains for personal loans, credit repair, debt consolidation, and it never clicked to me that I could just specifically market to those groups, if that makes sense. And then one day it did, and now I've got like, I don't know, 10 websites, right, that all have a different potential, right? Timeshare exit, we have Medicare resource, we have flight, right? This is my own personal marketing, final expense, U65, auto insurance, right? This is something I've learned to do just because I took the time to learn the basics, right? Obviously, when you learn the basics, it becomes easy. You got to upgrade, right? This is what I really want you guys to. Do you guys have any questions while we're here? I really want to help you guys answer your questions. Hey, Spencer, you've been quiet this call. What's going on? I'm gonna pick on you.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm the guy who just sits in the back, you know, I'm just doing my work, you know, in the background.
That's why I picked on you.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Hey, all right. So I was in and out. So I didn't quite hear everything, but from what I'm hearing, it seems like there might be some coaching. I can tell everyone who's on this call, whatever you got to do to get some coaching with Conrad, do it. Like do it. Like do the whole thing. And I'll tell you why. It's not like having like a YouTube or like a I mean, there's a lot of classes out there, but it's one-on-one coaching, and he will answer every question. I mean, you can ask all the questions you want. And not only that, but you can ask your own, you have your own personalized class that's recorded, right? So I can tell you right now, I am not a WordPress expert at all, even though I understand the basics, but I have a recorded class that I'm going through and building websites. And it gets back to what we were talking about before with the basics, that most people skip over the concept of being able to just do the basics really well. So my goal is the same. I keep hearing it over and over again, is toss up an ad, have a site, have everything done in a couple of hours, like in a day, right? And start testing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. I'm not trying to make $1 million off of that. I just want to test it. But really what I'm testing is my ability to have that done in a day. Because once I do that, I can do anything, right?
Once you do that, whatever idea that comes to you, let's say once you can build a business in one day, imagine how powerful that can be. You can go to your local liquor store, right? Usually the owner's at the desk, or his son or his grandson or whatever. Say, hey, do you guys have a website? Like, oh, we actually don't. We've been just serving the neighborhood, right? Hey, what do you think if I built you guys a website and ran some ads for you guys? I'll do it for free. I'll do it for free. If you get any new clients, then you can cut me a commission, right? Any new client that comes in, right? If you see it's working for you after a month, right? After a month, if you see an increase in revenue, let me know and I'll help you grow it some more, right? If you can do this in 2 hours, what's stopping you from doing it, right? If you can do it in 2 hours, you have 30 days in a month. You probably go to 30 different small businesses in a month, right? Your local bakery, your garage, your car wash, your liquor store, right? Maybe it's like a hardware store. You can do this for literally anybody, right?
Well, I'm old enough to remember pre-internet, and swinging doors was like, that was the way to get business, right? So I would go face to face with a lot of businesses back in the day. Here's the thing though, that I can tell you, even now, not a lot changes. I just say lead generation. So what do? I'm a lead generator.
That's it.
Everyone that I've talked to who owns a business needs leads. Everyone I've said that to. It's not difficult to find lead buyers.
Every business needs leads, right? It's like opening up a shop, right? Your doors are wide open and you have 0 clients coming in, right? Those clients are coming from somewhere. You own a shop that sells jeans, right? One client comes in, oh, these jeans are nice. They have great prices. They go home and they tell their friends, their family, their cousins, right? Their coworkers. That's marketing. That's like what we're doing on Facebook, right? You have a product and people are seeing it. You're just paying for people to see it. Imagine having a business and no clients come in. It wouldn't be a business.
And don't forget about like the residual effects of running ads and keeping pages up and keeping phone numbers live. Like I have campaigns running right now, or actually I have campaigns that I'm not running right now and are still generating phone calls.
Yeah, same here. Same here for
People
Medicare.
will
I get calls for
bookmark
Medicare all the time.
Yeah, they'll bookmark the Facebook page, they'll bookmark the ad, they'll write down the phone number, and then they see a commercial for whatever product, say Medicare, for example. And they're like, oh yeah, let me call that one number that I had saved. Usually for that generation, it's older people, so they have it written down on their fridge or something, right? And so they go over there and they call it. And so now I don't like to look at it as free leads. I like to look at it as like my long-term investments are starting to pay me back dividends.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Hey, Clayton, you have some, do you want to go over some credit repair stuff? Because I've been getting a lot of questions on that.
I mean, I can, as best as I can. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I just wanted to show them, we went over the funnel for credit repair. Can you give me some feedback on the ads that I was running? I saw these from this is from you guys, but is there anything I can do better here just while we're on this call so that everyone else can replicate this for credit repair. How many calls do you guys need for credit repair?
The cap's pretty wide open.
Okay, cool. Right, so these are just some of the ads that I had. Any kind of tips and tricks that we can do while we're on the call just to make these better from your experience?
Where'd you get the videos?
From Carlos.
Okay.
This really worked, bro. I blew $1,000 on this because no one answered, but the ads were relatively well priced.
Yeah. I'm not.
This was a while ago. This was like almost 2-3 weeks ago. But I want to jump back in now.
Yeah. So, can you expand your ad? Just the little 3 dots right there. Now just click 3 dots. Okay, right there where it says expand. It just popped up. Top above your mouse. It says expand. Up.
Oh,
Up right there. There you go. And then, so that's the whole ad, huh?
yeah.
Where's the imagine, or not the imagine, the guarantee?
The guarantee is.
Oh, that's just a second. Okay, so you have rotating. You have dynamic ad plays. Okay.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. So I'm not too fond, honestly. I'm just gonna critique some of the stuff. I'm not too fond with your first primary text. Too vague. You're not singling anybody out.
Okay.
And it's just not very. For me, it's not very attention. I mean, if I were wanting to improve my credit, what I would do for theme your credit repair offers. I kind of like to theme everything. I've been finding that it works better with quality score and ad relevancy. But if you say like you target, can you target by birthday anymore? I haven't even checked.
Birthday?
Yeah. Like go to your ad set. Your ad set, yeah, down. Yeah, there you go. And then go to, okay, so what are your interests? Add interests and behaviors. Up there, edit. And then type in, go to browse. Click browse. Only interest, that's it.
No, yeah, because the special ad category. You only get.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I was gonna put the credit repair pages and behaviors, but I can't.
Yeah. So maybe interest, cars, car loan. Let's see, because you had a picture of a car there. Anything to do with like
Something you need good credit for.
Yeah, like, home financing. You're probably not going to find any of that stuff anymore, which sucks. Like even that home business, right? That's an approach you can take with credit, right? You can say something like, we understand that starting a new business isn't cheap. But after the pandemic, who wants to work for anybody? Get your credit right so that you can start your new business today. We'll help you along the way. Something stupid, cheesy like that. Because now you're talking to a certain audience, a specific audience. You're saying, hey, person who wants to start a business, it's going to cost you money. And in order to have that money, you're going to need credit. So let us help you with your credit, your personal credit, so that you can get those business loans. That would be something that I would target. Or like auto loans, right? Like, car prices are finally on a downward spin or whatever, a downward trend. Now's the time to lock in great interest rates while they're still around. Get the credit you need to get that new car today. Stuff like that. Like, think of commercials in your local industry or like your local community, right? Usually it's like, hey, if you have this problem, we have this solution. Here's a limited time offer, right? That's literally just those three things is how you break down an ad. Point out the problem. You can even point out the problem, agitate the problem, give them a solution, and then your call to action.
I don't want to go too deep into that. I don't want to get my ad banned, but we can try something.
No, so right there. So now you're singling one person out. You got to single out a group of people so you don't get in trouble by Facebook. So like we understand that, or did you know that opening a small business costs $70,000 and opening an online business costs around $20,000? If you're thinking about starting a business, you'll need, strong personal credit. Let us help you achieve your dreams of business ownership or entrepreneurship. I know this is all off the hip.
Yeah, it's all right.
So you just kind of clean it up. But everybody on the call, I mean, oh, I didn't even know Chris was on the call.
This is the whole purpose of marketing, right? Testing, trial, error, putting in like creating like I in reality I should have all 5 headlines filled out here, right? So you can give Facebook as much ammunition as possible to get you a good result.
Right. So let me talk about that for real quick. So I know we've probably all seen that meme, right? Where it's like you got the nerd guy on the top and he's all like analytical, and then you got the bro at the bottom. He's got his feet kicked up and talking about like, we just let the Facebook ads rip. Have you guys seen that one? I think Carlos might have just posted it too.
I don't think I've seen it.
It's like, there's 2 type of media buyers. There's the guy that are super analytical and down to the fraction of a percentage. And then there's the guy who just, bets it all on red and lets it fly. And, and back in the day, before algorithms and AI, machine learning, all this crap that they use now on these platforms, the analytical approach was the best and only approach. And so there's the old school marketers who feel that is the only live by way to do things, is at the analytical level. But Google and Facebook's algorithm has evolved so much since then.
Yeah, and I think they've slacked off since they switched to Meta. It took a huge hit yesterday, so they're kind of, I don't want to say lenient, but they're kind of opening up.
Well, they need money to pay for all these legal expenses.
Let's give it to them.
And so what I was saying is like, I forgot what I was saying. Go ahead, interrupted me. Interrupted my thought process. Oh yeah, algorithm. Yeah, so it's especially now after the iOS update and the blocking of the cookies and like cookies eventually not being a thing anymore. It's harder for these systems to track and do their job. So setting up proper conversion tracking is key, and then letting their algorithm do the heavy lifting, all the analytical processing that they do on the back end. Let them do that. Let them find the right people, because they know who you're looking for. Oh, they can figure out who you're looking for. You just got to let them kind of do their thing.
Yeah. So
that the targeting based on your credit score and home ownership and all the stuff that Google or that Facebook let us do back in the day, it's gone. It's not coming back. We'll never see that again.
Yeah.
So we have to work with what we've got, and they've got to keep data private, and we've got to allow their algorithms and trust in their algorithms to process the data correctly to find us the targeted.
And we know they work. We know they work. We've been doing it. It definitely works. Like for credit category, when you run a credit repair ad, Facebook knows who to target to. Google knows everything about you. Facebook knows everything about you. They know your habits. Let's say you have a credit repair ad, right? Facebook knows the habits of someone who has bad credit or the person who is looking for credit repair, right? That's why they track you. The sites that you visit, the decisions that you make, the amount of time that you use certain apps, the amount of time you use certain websites, right? Everybody falls into a certain demographic. And that's why they created the credit category, the housing category, the election category, whatever it is, right? Because people in groups have group habits that can discern them. And that's what Facebook is giving you the ability to do. Google as well. You can market to those groups without saying, hey, I want people who have less than 650 credit.
Hey, going back to that special ad category, how does that restrict you? Because I know you said, well, that's a special ad category. What did that do to your ad? How would it limit you?
I don't know the difference because I've only been running it through special ad category.
So with that, you can't change your age range. So you'll notice that you can't go and set like from 26 to 35.
Okay.
Or you shouldn't be able to.
No, I can't.
Yeah, see. You can't target that. You can't target male or female. And I think there's certain
it takes off the demographics and behaviors.
Right, and then then I think they limit all that targeting that you have to, so it's very limited.
Yeah.
So would you suggest you do that, or would you suggest just to come out of a different way?
It's the safest way to get it so that they're not going to
ban you.
Suspend your ad or reject your ad.
Okay.
Like even if you put like the word Obamacare in something, that's considered political, and they'll suspend your account. Hey, remember that ad that I made, Conrad? Did I show you that one where it looked like it was one of those pictures that had the little like fact check thing that Facebook puts on stuff?
Yeah.
So I did that, and I made it look like the fact check thing, but I said like this information is true.
No.
Right? And yeah, that ad did not get approved. And I repealed it like 3 times.
Instant suspension.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna delete that ad. It was good though. I thought it was pretty clever. I think it was just too misleading. So
yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I mean, there's so many different. Again, guys, marketing is about trial and error, right? Just because I'm getting a result, or just because Clayton's getting a result, right, or someone else getting a result, doesn't mean that you will not get a result. It means the opposite. You should be getting a result, right? Get out there and ask the questions, guys. That's why we have so many resources available to you. We have 2 weekly calls. I personally do 4 or 5 weekly calls, right? I have 1 for mortgage, 1 for crypto, 2 for this program, right? We're doing so many things. You have the opportunity to ask so many questions. You guys literally have a group, the inner circle. It's got like 100 people in there that some people are getting results. Start asking questions, guys. When I first started, Carlos literally told me, bro, can you stop calling my phone? I have a wife. Like, I would call him and text him all day. How do I do this? What do I do? How do I figure it out? And then I figured it out, right? Obviously, Carlos is probably too busy now to answer just phone calls all day, but that's why he built the inner circle group. So everybody can be in here together and ask each other questions and figure it out together.
And that's why we have Joanne, Jay, and Rose to help with like simple questions, things like that.
Exactly.
So usually just so you guys know how that works, is asking them is not like not asking myself or Carlos, right? All that communication gets funneled back to us anyways. If they don't have the exact answer, that question gets sent to us and then we work on it. So like when people send me direct messages and it takes me like 2 weeks to get back to you guys, it's because I've got a list of people I need to respond to, and direct messages on Slack are at the bottom of the list. So I have to go through my help desk stuff, and then I get into my direct messages. So that's why we're really trying to push everybody, like, use the support ticket system that we have set up. Go in there, even if it's for something simple or silly. If you can't find it in the knowledge base, schedule a support call or submit a support ticket. And our goal, I'm trying to get responses back within 24 hours on all support tickets.
Clayton,
obviously, if it's
Clayton,
something super advanced.
So surprised at how many people I've helped that, guys, just ask for help. right? I've seen people spend 2 weeks trying to figure out how to do something that takes literally 10 minutes or 5 minutes, right? Don't waste your time, guys. Just ask for help and it's there, right? You can watch YouTube. I mean, like you can watch YouTube videos. You can ask Clayton, you can ask me, you can ask Carlos, you can ask someone else in the group, right? Don't just sit there and fiddle with it when you can Google the solution and you'll get the solution right away.
Dude, last week, Joe, I had a question about, everybody kept talking about pausing their ads. I said, how in the heck do you do that? I know you can do that in Google. So Joe was my so I said, Joe, you know, how can you do this? People keep talking about pausing the ads. She said, you got to set a rule. So she got back when she said, you know what? Let's jump on right now. Jumped on. She recorded the dang session, showed me how to set up my rule. Now I know how to create my rule in Facebook. Boom. She sent me the link of a recorded session, man, on the spot.
There you go. Customized training videos, customized for your individual issue. I mean, it's hard to get that anywhere else.
Dude, I've never.
It's hard to get that anywhere else, man. You know, and for someone who knows exactly what your issue is as well, that's
Never
not
had
easy to find. You get me? So sometimes people have trouble just, you know, how do I turn on my plugins or how do I add my logo into my website? They spend 2 weeks trying to add a logo to their website. It only takes 10 minutes, 5 minutes, right? Don't waste your time. Waste your time. Spend your time making the right mistakes, guys. That's why we're here to give you backup.
You know, to get in the inner circle, you had to pay, you know, for some people, it's a lot of money, right? For me, it's a good little chunk of change, but it's worth it. I mean, what you're saying now, I'm not hesitant in asking the question because I get answers, which keeps me motivated because when you get an answer, you can move forward. You're not hung up. So that's why.
But Willie, I also want you to see what's the potential is. You get me? What it is that you're learning, right? When I first started, I was in your shoes, and I want to be an example to you guys what is possible with this business, right? The different vertical. I want to open your mind as wide as I possibly can so that you know what's available out there, right?
Yep. And you're doing that.
That's the whole plan.
After last week, I jumped on the call and Clayton and Carlos jumped on it, man. I was on fire, man. I was like, man, shoot. Give me a year. And I asked Carlos in one of those meetings, I said, do they sell big boy Lambos? He said, yeah, they do, XL. Don't give me XL.
Yeah, they got the Lamborghini SUV. That'd have to be my style too. I'm a big guy.
SUV? I mean, honestly, dude, Carlos showed me something last week. He showed me how to generate, I don't want to say it like a business thing, but he showed me how to generate leads for dinner, bro. Like, I'm literally getting girls to click on my ad and taking them to happy hour and taking them to dinner, bro. This is amazing. There's so much potential out there to do literally anything. You can have fun with it, guys. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can literally take this training and open your own business. Like not in lead generation, but in anything that you want because you know how to generate leads for your business or any business like that.
Yeah, yesterday, what Spencer and Connor was talking about resonated with me. I went to pick up my my Jeep yesterday, and the guy owns a mechanic shop, auto dealer, and also the top level of his business, he has a production company with video production, right, media. And so I was talking to him, and he was I've known him for a couple of years because he's been my mechanic guy. And then he showed me his production center upstairs because he transformed it. Then he was asking me what I was into now. And I told him lead generation. That's what Spencer was talking about. So he said, you know what, let's get together. Maybe we can work something out. And I said, well, my response was, well, give me about another month. Because I'm sitting there trying to soak in all this information. And, you know, when you're talking about connecting with people, that could be very well something I can offer him as lead gen. And so it was a pretty interesting when Spencer was talking about that, Connor, you're talking about, and now it makes sense to me. But I think that, you know, if I keep pushing, then I'm going to be able to have that conversation with more than just one person about lead gen and other aspects of businesses, which is a nice thing.
Exactly. Exactly. You want to have as many options to succeed as you possibly can.
I just want to throw a warning out there though. When you start talking to people and you tell them that you're like business owners and you tell them that you're in lead generation, I stopped doing that because everybody would ask me to generate leads for their business.
Yeah.
So now I took Carlos's book and I just tell him I'm unemployed. But like I'll just be at some, random gathering or something, or out, go out to the bar with my wife or whatever. And I usually, for some reason, people just talk to me. And a lot of times they'll be business owners and they'll be like, oh yeah, what do you do? And I'll tell them lead generation. And they're like, oh yeah, we should definitely, here's my card. We should definitely talk. Like, it's like, I wasn't even looking for business. And most of the time I tell them, oh yeah, I don't work in that industry though. That's the easiest way. Now I just don't mention it because I just don't want to deal with it. But I mean, I wish I had that problem when I first got started, right? I wish I had the problem of telling people I'm unemployed versus I'm a lead generator because I was afraid that they're going to ask me for business, right? It's a good problem to have.
I mean, we can just show them how to do it. It isn't that hard, We
Right.
can show them exactly how to build ads for their own business. That's really what I want to show you guys how to do. Is you can do this for any business, right? You can walk into not a grocery store, like a liquor store. Like I was saying earlier, you can build a website for that or show them how to do it themselves.
So one of the easiest way to get local business is to put on an event talking about marketing to local businesses or for local businesses. So saying, hey, I'm going to hold a 1 hour training session locally, go, rent out a small room at a hotel or whatever. It shouldn't cost more than $500. And then say, I need it for like an hour, and then have, throw up an ad in your local spot for another, $200 to $500 for the month, and run this event thing and get a whole bunch of business owners to sign up saying, yeah, I want to learn how to market my business. And now you got a whole room full of business owners that you can sell your services to.
Exactly.
How about like Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah,
Stuff
being
like
part of that too. Like I'm part of like the Chamber of Commerce out here. I'm part of, there's a local youth program. It's called JAM. I work with schools directly and students to help the teachers teach more relevant content about marketing and video production and graphic design.
That's so important, bro. Who needs algebra?
Right. Yeah. So like I go and I speak at like a local college here and stuff like that. And also there's another mixing group that I'm part of. I haven't really shown up to that group in a while, but they'll meet up at the local breweries and they'll do little mixers and stuff with all the different business owners. And usually it's a lot of young guys and girls that are just getting started in business. A lot of them are marketing agencies who have no idea what they're doing. But they're out there, showing up. And that's all it is showing up.
That's all that
Kinda
matters.
like showing up to
You wanna
those.
show up and you want to
events that
put
we
the
go to.
effort in. You want to take some action. That's really important, guys.
Yeah, but Clayton, how long in Conrad too? How long did it take you guys to arrive to that place where you can offer more than one thing? I couldn't have that conversation right now.
When you're comfortable, Willie, the answer is when you're comfortable.
And Willie, that's actually a really, really good question. What I want you to focus on is build this, like Clayton was saying, build the necessary skills, build the right foundation, right? So that when you see an opportunity, you can act on it right away.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You want to be able to have that knowledge there. It's going to take a little time. I've been doing this for 2 years. Clayton's been doing this for like 5-10 years. Carlos been doing this for about 10 years. So we already know the basic habits that you have to do to make a campaign successful, right? What we're doing is we're opening up that, I'm literally opening up my brain and you have access to the inside of it, right? Same thing for Clayton, same thing for Carlos. we're doing it in a way because, there's like 150 people in Carlos's group. We can't just every single person give you the one-on-one focus every day that you want, right? So we're trying to give you as much support as we can and giving you the ability to ask as many questions as you can. That's why we do these calls. That's why we have our backup calls. That's why they do the Mega Monday. That's why they have the Technical Tuesday, right? That's why I have my Go sessions. I want you guys to succeed. I want you guys to get good results with this business.
Right. And if
the
you look
first
at
year one is the foundation.
if you look at who shows up to these things, like look at this group. I mean, there's what, 6 people in this call. And then on the Thursdays calls, there's at the most 30 people,
Yeah.
and there's 80 plus people in the inner circle. There's over 200 people in the regular groups, and only a handful of people show up. And a lot of people, bought into the program, put their money down and said, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, and committed, and they never show up. And the few people that do show up get one-on-one guidance and counseling and all that stuff, because you guys actually show up. And if you got a question, you raise your hand and you speak up. Like,
it really, guys, it really is that simple. It really is that simple.
Hey,
Some
man,
people jump in, they don't commit. You're gonna have to do a little work for this.
Yeah, all I'm working towards is to reach the pinnacle is to be in my big boy Lambo and give a testimonial. That's all I want.
internet marketing lifestyle. Gotta love it.
Internet marketing lifestyle.
From rags to riches, all the way live.
From Buicks to Lambos.
From Buicks to Lambos. Yeah, guys, we really want you guys to succeed, but you got to ask questions. You get me? Today, it was really the 3 of us. This was a call for 3 people today. It was for Clayton, for Willie, and for me, basically. I want you guys to ask more questions and be more involved in the calls, right? If not, it just really isn't worth it for me to do these anymore. I want you guys to learn as much as you can. I could just spend an hour I spent an hour building something else while we were on the call, and I still answered your questions. You get me? So I want you guys to use that, and I want you guys to, be more involved. We do this every Tuesday, Thursday. So, we'll do a last call. I know this goes until 11:40. Do you guys have any final questions while we're here? Tony, you've been quiet all call, bro. What's going on?
He's in the chat. Probably can't talk.
Oh, he's in the chat.
Let's see. Oh, there's some chats in here.
Oh yeah, he said, can you guys comment on flights campaign Google Ads, no brand bidding and accounts staying up making money, or don't go there?
Yeah, so I'll talk about that, since that's kind of like my main focus right now.
Awesome.
So I don't know if you saw that post that I made in the group, but I spoke to a Google rep, and we talked about and explored my last campaign that I was running, and he confirmed again that I did nothing wrong or in violation. So now we're in the works of getting that account reinstated. But in the meantime, I've got.
Did you find a workaround?
Yeah, I've got 3 other accounts. So I bought a laptop for my sister, and she's going to keep that at her house, and I'm going to run Google off of that. And then I've got a buddy who's going to do the same thing. He's going to leave a computer on in his house, and I'm just going to use that computer remotely to run Google Ads. So I'm finding workarounds for that because my account's suspended. And then also my wife, she just got a laptop for Christmas, so we're going to use that under her name to run Google Ads. But so I'm having to do some workarounds because I already got my stuff suspended, but we're trying to get it back
So
going.
did you find out what was triggering the suspension?
No, yeah. So the guy I was talking to was probably the most informative and most helpful Google rep I've ever talked to. So we went through like all kinds of different stuff, right? Like I asked him all the questions except for pop-ups. I forgot to ask about pop-ups, if they were permitted or if it was an issue or not. But so basically what he was saying was, look, you can't have any redirections whatsoever on your website. You can't have a like click here to go to the American Airline website. Instant ban of your account.
Gotcha.
Third party, they consider it misleading. And that's when you get the unacceptable business practices.
Gotcha. So it's the redirect. You just want to have
Right. So
Okay.
they'll hit you with either the business practices or circumventing if you have redirection on your site, or if your site is misleading in any way, like basically saying like click here to call and get connected with an American Airlines representative, and you're really calling your travel agency. That's not okay.
Gotcha.
And then what are some of the other things he said?
But you kind of work that out though, Clayton, with having that one website with options, right?
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah,
so that's
pretty
kind
good.
of the approach that I conjured in my head while I was talking with that guy. But you guys can see, like, I posted that, and then the next day I posted another, or was it the same day? I can't remember. Another video of me building out that whole website, right? My new idea of how to get around all this Google stuff. It's kind of like a gray hat technique, so I'm not sure how well it will do or how long it will last. But again, I said that in the video. This is all just something that, like, again,
Trial and error,
my
guys.
brain, I'm gonna throw it together. I'm gonna see if it works. If it works, boom, good, I'll run with it. If it doesn't work, then I'm gonna try a different approach.
So I have a question about that.
Approved?
This, Conrad, what'd you say?
Did the account get approved?
No, we're still waiting. I had to rebuild my old website
Gotcha.
because they have to recheck my old website. So we have to rebuild it.
So, excuse me, Clayton. Hello. Good morning.
Morning.
What is the purpose of flights? I'm David. Spoken through.
Oh yeah.
Yes. What is the purpose? Because it seems like a lot to
Endure.
I'm trying to be as open and honest as possible. It seems like a lot to go through,
Right.
just to get somewhere. Clearly, I'm assuming it's obviously got to be profitable based off of how the pay is done. I mean, the buffer is crazy, or just getting $5, I guess, per conversion is insane. So, what's the purpose of the flights? And I want to.
Yeah, so
Okay.
so flights, you're most likely going to get it paid out at that $7 to $19 mark per call, not the $5. It's very rare that it even goes to that buyer. Now that we've got on actually some really big buyers, we're 24/7 now, which is great. Any campaign that you can just leave on is good, because you can collect that data and really target in on the hours that you want to show your ads. But that being said, flight is just such a high volume industry, and so that's why a lot of people like it, and that's why it's so regulated, because the amount of search, I think it's 4 or 5 million people a day book airline tickets. So that amount of people, actually, let's Google that.
Yeah, there's a lot of space to run in that.
I thought it was a couple million. Oh, sorry, I'm way off. No, that's worldwide. Okay, so let's see, average flights per day for commercial airlines is about 170,000 a day. So that's 170,000 people that are actively looking for flights every day. And you get that type of volume. So 170,000 people book a flight every day, but that's not to say that there's not 1 million people out there or 2 million people out there looking for airline tickets at that given time. So the volume is just insane. So the payout's lower, the volume's insane, the cost per click is pretty low. You can get it to like under $2 a click, and you're converting at usually about like a $6 mark, and then you're getting paid out $18. So you're making $10 spread easily on each lead. And then if you're doing that at such a low cost, your budget goes further, so you get more calls, so you profit more.
Gotcha.
So that's why flight's so sought after.
So Clayton, I had a question for you also for flight. So I was reading some articles on some pretty sketchy websites to learn about flight. It was like a kind of like a gray hat marketing forum. right?
Yeah.
We were talking about how flights is a restricted vertical. It's tough to get into. I saw someone make a comment about not using any brand names whatsoever in your keywords.
Right.
Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I am no longer putting, so the rep said that you can put branded names in your website copy, but he said you can do it on the ad copy as well, but it's frowned upon. So basically don't do it. Right.
Yeah.
So, and then he said, but yeah, there's no problem having those names on your website. It's just when people try and impersonate the airline is when they start getting
so like
upset.
don't say book a flight with American Airlines. Say
Right.
book your flight today.
Right. So like I won't even list like, oh, all the, because some of my old websites I would list all the different airline carriers that we worked with, right? I would say, hey, book a trip to Cabo with Southwest and save big, it's like stuff like that. So I'm avoiding all of that type of talk now. So it's all very generic. Obviously I have two approaches going. I have a travel agency approach, which I haven't talked about. And then I have the helpline page, which I did talk about. And you can pull that up if you want to. You can just go to myquickhelpline.com.
Hey, Clayton, you said the Google guy told you it's okay to do keyword bidding? Because when I did that,
Instant restriction, right?
It flagged all my ads specifically for keywords. So I just got, just eliminated that.
Right. So yeah, that's what he told me. He told me that it was okay. Yeah, none of those buttons work. It just goes to generic. I haven't finished it. But yeah, he said it was okay, but he said he wouldn't recommend it, but he said it was okay. So that just tells me right there, like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely don't.
So with that being said, maybe this could be a sidebar, perhaps, possibly. So, yeah. So after all of that, I just kind of stopped because there was just so much going on. So I don't know if you'll be willing to your schedule. I know you're a very busy person. Maybe do a one-on-one, and I can try it again and make sure it's good. But after are you following between the lines?
Yeah. No, I get it. We are gonna do a flight challenge / training. I don't know if Carlos is going to talk about it today or not, but it's been something that we've been working on for a while, or putting together for a while. And so that's why my focus has been on flight so heavily, because I need to, be brushed up on as much of it as possible. And we already have people actively running flights using these type of approaches. And so we know that after about 30 days, maybe a little bit before, you're going to get a business verification request, and you have 7 days to fill that out. And so what we did now is we have insertion orders that will have you guys sign when you're running Facebook or when you're running these flight campaigns. And those insertion orders will show an agreement between you and us for purchasing those flight booking calls. And so then you'll submit that with Google to show, hey, look, I have an actual contract with an actual marketing company saying that they need these calls, and here's our agreement. And you'll send that to them, and then that will help push it forward. So he just submitted his, and that's Gene is who I'm talking about. He just submitted his business verification yesterday. So hopefully by next week, he should have a response, if not sooner, if not by the end of the week. And he should have his account back active. But he's been running the unbranded keywords and keeping it very, very, very compliant. And he did get suspended. He appealed, and it turned his account back on the very next day. And then he got a business verification at about the day 30 mark. But other than that, everything's been smooth. He's been able to generate some phone calls and stuff like that. So
yeah, mine got suspended due to, it said the second time it said because of certain, the first one was payment suspicious. I think Google just does that. So that's not, that's nothing. But the circumventing one, but I did my website pretty much like Carlos did his for the 24 airline call, like whatever his thing is.
Yep.
So I don't really have any third parties. I did have that search thing there, that search widget bar there.
That's what it is.
But that's it.
That's what it is.
You think
That-
okay.
That's what killed my campaign too, was that search widget.
Oh.
So when I was talking with the guy, that's what we concluded, was it was that search widget, because I was telling him like there was no third-party links, everything was internal links. I said I was running running it to a landing page, and the only click off to that landing page was the home page, and on that home page it just clicked the call buttons. I said, so there was nothing that was redirecting them to any other site. And he's like, are you sure there's nothing else? And I was like, actually, yeah, I had a widget, but that was just like a price searching widget. And he's like, yeah, he's all, that's most likely what caused it. He's all, if there's anything to do with any kind of like scripts that you add to your website or any kind of third-party redirections, those can trigger that issue with circumventing or the business practices thing.
Do you have a web? I'm sorry. Go ahead. Someone asked a question.
No, it was just a real quick one. Sorry, Clayton, how did you get an actual person on the phone? Because I had,
you just got to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You gotta bank it, bro.
It's not.
Someone on the phone, you gotta spend 10 grand with Facebook or with Google. It's at least 10 grand, like 3,000 a month for at least 3 months. And you get a dedicated account manager.
Yeah, I talk to Facebook all the time.
Yeah, me too. I have a weekly call with my Facebook account rep.
So back to my question. So Clayton, do you have a website that that you would mind sending me? That way I can have an idea of doing it without the widget, or just pretty much do the same thing, just don't have the widget.
Yeah, so I'm putting together a template for everybody right now. So I should have that ready by the end of the week, which would be tomorrow. So week's going by fast. Yeah, so I have that about halfway done right now. I just got to finish it. But I'll send that to you guys. If you're on flight, so I know you're doing flight. Did I add you to that group in Slack?
No, I'm not to that group.
Okay, so I'm going to add you to a group in Slack. So what I've been doing is taking anybody who's actively running a campaign, and I have a channel in Slack for that campaign. So any communications about that type of stuff will be in that channel. So let me add you. If there's anybody else on this call that's doing flight, I'll add them too. Just let me know.
Yeah, dude, add me to it. I tried. I got suspended, bro. I'll give it a shot.
You can put me in there, Clayton.
Absolutely.
Is there a way to, last question, is there a way to like eliminate, because I was getting regular calls, but then I kept getting out of like these 8811 long, out of country calls, but everything was set for English and USA and et cetera, et cetera. So
welcome to flight.
So that just happens regardless.
Yeah, so that's spamming. So what happens is when you start showing up in ads for like Delta or American Airlines or United, there's usually some kind of center in Pakistan who is going to get your phone number and put it in a dialer, and they're going to blast it like 1,000 times a minute. And so we have IVRs set up in place that will block those calls. And so they just set it up as a robo dial. It's like a massive robo dialer. And the IVR we have in place randomizes the digit that needs to be pressed in order to get connected. So, and then it goes into another IVR to have another press one button. So like the robo dialer thing can't determine what the correct button is to press. So it fails every time. So you'll see like a ton of failed calls, and that's usually because it's a robo dialer. And then we'll block those IPs, and then they won't be able to connect the calls anyways.
So clearly, it seems to be a very profitable campaign, obviously. So
yeah, it's definitely worth.
I just want
really
to know
kind
the
of
purpose of it
and trying it out.
So how would someone jump in on this whole flight thing going on?
Just send me a blank check signed, and I'll get you going.
Cool. I have a whole stack of those. In this business, you have to.
I'm pretty sure Carlos will talk about it today. If not, I'll make him talk about it. But we are opening it up, and it's going to be kind of limited, and we are going to be offering some pretty cool. I don't know. I'll just wait. It's a pretty unique offer. That see what I did there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once, just wait. If you guys are going to be on the 12 o'clock call, which is 3 o'clock for you Eastern people, we'll talk about the flight more.
Yeah, but I'm not really on that call or in the group or anything. So
okay, well I'll message you on the side. Are you in the are you even in the?
Nope.
I
can already answer that question.
Okay, I will get that information to Conrad, and then he can get it to you.
Gotcha.
Does that work?
Cool. Thanks, Clayton. Thanks.
Yeah.
I have a couple questions for Flight.
Here we go.
Yes, sir. So you're creating the helpline website mainly to do what? Like, what's the reason?
Google.
Okay.
Pretty much is what we're doing.
Okay. Okay.
In a professional.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And then in terms of, let's say, like, I know that if you get accounts suspended, you don't want to be waiting, so you want other accounts ready.
Yep.
And I know you said your wife got a new laptop. So let's say my dad and my mom have laptops, but they're on the same IP or just Wi-Fi that I'm on. What happens there? Do you know?
So I don't know how many you can have running in the same IP. I'm telling people limit it to 2 per household.
Okay.
Because it's common for 2 people to be running things in a single network. It's uncommon for 5 to 10 people to be running the same thing in a single network. So I'm taking the lowest of the 2, which would be a couple or roommates. I'm just kind of thinking like naturally, how would something like this happen? Naturally, you probably have like 2 bros in some apartment, put together ads, or you've got a husband and wife team working out of their house, right?
That makes sense.
That's the kind of approach that I'm taking. I'm taking like a very, very, very gentle approach to it.
Okay.
And then I'll test it. I'll be like, okay, I'm willing to burn an account, so let me add 2 more accounts into this, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I'll do all that testing. So I mean, unless you guys want to test it out yourself, or just wait for me to spend my money and lose my accounts.
Yeah. Also, yeah. So should I just pretty much wait to do flights again, or?
Well, I would definitely start getting everything set up. Don't do anything in Google just yet. That being said, if you are going to get into flight, make sure that your website's already set up. Make sure you have a Facebook page. Make sure that if you are on a brand new laptop running a Google account, make sure that you're searching stuff, like go search local pizza shops and go click on stuff and sign up for newsletter if it's a new Gmail account, which it shouldn't be a new Gmail account. You want to find somebody who has a computer that they use and they have a Gmail account, but they don't run Google ads. And you could say, hey, let me just use your Google ad account. And then that way it's an account setting up Google ads. That's not a brand new account that just got set up 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. Yeah, because I ran it, but once it got suspended, I just thought, I think I was about to sell my website. I was done. To be honest with you, man.
Hey, I tried to sell mine too, and no one bought it. So
yeah, not that I don't believe in it. I just it was just so much is different from what I'm accustomed to. But now that you've explained it all, I mean, and what I'm saying, by the way, this is not to tell anyone to not do the flights. That was just my own personal experience.
Yeah, no, yours and because we originally, when we started this group, it it was all flight. Everyone was doing flight. We all set up flight right off the gate, and then 90% of people got their accounts banned. And then Google released this new thing about flight, and we were like, okay, you know what? Medicare's coming up. Let's all switch over to Medicare. You know, and because it was too much. We just didn't have the manpower to do what we're doing now with flight. So yeah, I think it'll be a lot different this time around. Definitely people are going to get their accounts shut down. And that's one of the things that you just have to expect. If you're going to get into flight and travel, just know you're going to get suspensions and you're going to have to do the Google dance. It's just part of the thing, but it's worth it because you can make so much money doing flight.
How do people typically get new accounts?
I was
in general.
So I was on some black hat Skype channel the other night, and I was trying to see where I can buy Google ad accounts that have good spending limits. And the only couple people that I talked to, they said, yeah, we'll sell you this account, and they charge a percentage of what you spend in that account. But flight is one of the things that is restricted. They're like, no, I'm not going to sell you if you're going to do flight. I'm kind of like, okay, but I'm sure there's somebody out there that you can buy an account from. But that is definitely like back page type stuff,
Yeah. So what are the requirements for a Google account? Just like a Gmail or just a new laptop?
Gmail. What I do is I run my Google account, my main Google account, from my G Suite account. So I have my business, and I use my business email address to run my MCC account, which runs my ad accounts. So it's a legit business through and through. So when I do have to do business verifications, it's really simple for me to submit all that information. But each account that I set up will be an individual account with an individual ad account and not an MCC account. And if they do a business verification, it's just going to be, whoever's account it is, right? Jane Smith company, right? Whatever, I'm going to say it's just a self-incorporated thing, 1099, type thing. So that's how I'm going to go through the business practices on those, or the business verification on those, I'll call them sub accounts that I have.
Okay, so like if your sister's computer gets audited.
Sell my account. Because it deleted I think it took out my content because I had a great website, man. It was perfect.
Did you deleted it?
No, I didn't delete it. I have GoDaddy, so when I hit sell, it said, "Well, we're gonna put this page on your website to say this for sale or whatever." I don't freaking know.
Yeah, see,
I had a moment.
Yeah, I got it. I was posting stuff all over the place, like, "Hey, anybody want to buy this flight site? It's fully built out."
I was like, man, what is happening to me? I'm like frustrated, but I believe in it because clearly it's profitable, it's working. So like I said, guys, definitely give it a try. Do not let that experience. Obviously, if I did all of that and I'm still trying to get back to it, then let you know that it clearly is something special. So
yeah.
So the only, I guess, potential issue is just the lack of accounts if you get destroyed by Google on everything.
Yeah, unfortunately, but I mean, there's always, it's how bad do you want it, right? Like once you get one of these campaigns rocking, and with what we're gonna offer, like it's a no-brainer. It's like, do you want to make $10,000? Yes or no? Right? That's literally what it's like.
Obviously, yes.
So it's like, how hard will you work to get those ad accounts running and being able to run flight campaigns? So that's why, like, I'm on a mission now. I've, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 ad accounts right now for Google, individual ad accounts in 3 different locations. So I'm getting pretty serious about this.
So maybe instead of potentially buying like new laptops, you could buy used laptops, right? That have history on them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good thing. You go to probably like a local um computer repair shop,
Yeah.
and they lean people's computers all the time, and just walk in there and be like, hey, do you have any lean computers you want to sell? I need to buy some laptops or
What's a lean
desktops.
computer?
So like if I take my computer in and say, hey, I need you to upgrade the RAM, or I need you to fix this issue on my computer, and
Gotcha.
then I go back and he's like, hey, it's $500, and I'm like, oh, I'll come back and I'll pay you, and I never come back. Well, now he can
Like,
sell that laptop.
Like the laptop from hell.
Yeah. It basically, like if someone put a lien on your car, you borrowed money against your car and you never paid it back, they can go and take your car. It's the same thing, but for a laptop. You can get them for pretty cheap. I got a pretty good laptop for $100 one time.
Nice.
Dang. Okay. I just got to think about getting accounts then.
All right, guys, I've got like an extra couple minutes here. I just want to get any final questions you guys might have. I know, Sarat, you came in late. Do you have any questions that you want to ask? I haven't heard your voice in a while, bro. What's going on?
I asked the flight questions.
Because I got them working. That's why.
There we go.
True.
I got them all over the place. He's setting up flight and pest control, Medicare.
Yeah, dude. But no credit repair, right? Like credit repair is not open or live or anything like that.
I think it is. Credit repair is live, right, Clayton?
Credit repair, yeah.
Okay, only the CPA, right?
Let me check on that. I'm not sure if you opened that back up good or not.
I think it's just CPA.
Hey, Clayton, how about that thing with pest control? How's that working out?
Yeah, so we basically have, it's not we don't have big buyers, but we have two buyers, East Coast and a West Coast buyer. West Coast is Northern California, and the East Coast is New York area. Rat's working on East Coast right now. I'm working on, well, let me be fully transparent. I'm supposed to be working on the California campaign. I haven't even started it. So Willie, if you want to work on that California campaign, let me know.
You got to get me some zip codes, Clayton.
Oh yeah, I need to get zip codes for you.
I guess, how long does it keep?
What's that?
Is it going to be nationwide, or is it zip code?
No, it's pretty limited. It's like 450 zip codes in California, and I think about the same in New York.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good stretch. It's like half of California.
What's your CPC at? Because I know pest control.
I don't know, because I haven't even been running it. But I was the California buyer. I've been selling to him for a few years. And I used to sell it to him for $35 a pop.
Gotcha.
And so we met each other in person at the San Diego trip. It was kind of a trip, but yeah, he was looking for lead buyers, and then Shandy introduced him to Carlos, and then I was standing right there, and I look over and I'm like, Jeff? And he's like, I'm like, it's Clayton from Lead Jar. And he goes, oh, wow, that's a small world. He's like, I need more leads. And Carlos is like, all right, we'll talk to him.
We'll talk to him.
So I used to sell it to him for $35, and I would only make about $5 profit per call. But actually more than $5. I think my cost was like $22, but I really didn't dig in the thing. I just threw up some call only ads. So it wasn't very optimized, but I was getting them for $22 converted call. I made 35. So yeah, a little more than $5, but
okay.
After my Ringba account, took some of that money for minutes. But now, we have the payout for pest set at 30. But we have a little bit more room. If you guys need 35, we can do 35. but just, I want to make it work for both parties, for you guys that you're profitable and for the buyers that they're getting good leads. So yeah.
My pest control account now has 34 impressions.
Watch out. Watch out.
Oh man, better than the one 2 days ago.
What's the budget at? He has that
It's
500?
at 500, yeah.
Maybe duplicate the campaign.
Okay.
I know
And
that
I'm supposed to,
that puts you at 1,000, but I mean, you're not even spending like $2. So
yeah.
that's
So like
cool.
right now, it's not spending anything. Then we're supposed to have the scheduler on, right? The ad schedule.
Yeah, I think the minutes for East Coast are like 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
I think it's 7:30 to 7:30 on Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and then Saturday I think is like 7 to or 10 to 4. 7 to 4.
Yeah.
Is that pest
Okay.
control? Google ad? Is that Facebook?
Google, yeah. You can run Facebook too. I mean, you can run pest control on any platform. It just does better on Google.
So just duplicate the campaign, you say?
Yeah, I would just duplicate it and see what that does over the next day or two. And
Okay.
if that still doesn't, then Conrad, do something for me real quick.
What's up?
Can you click on the little help button, the circle question mark up there? And then go ahead and click on contact us at the very bottom. Right there, up, right there. And then I'm teaching you guys how to get a hold of Google right now. Drop that first one down, pick any ad account. We're not going to really reach out to them. It doesn't matter. Just any ad account's fine. And then in that box, say ad review or something, whatever. Conversion tracking. There you go. Doesn't matter. And then go to other. You're supposed to go to other. There you go. Next. Scroll down. Next step.
Is something supposed to be on the screen right now? I'm not seeing anything. Maybe somebody else's screen.
Oh. Is it
I
only
can see
Willie?
it. No, I can see it.
We're over here on the right-hand side of the screen. Or can you not see the screen at all, Willie?
Oh, I can see it now. I'm on my phone because here we got our power went out because it got too cold in Texas.
Oh.
I can see it now. I can see it.
You should have jumped a ride with Cruise on over to Caribbeans.
Yeah. You got away before I can get a hold of them.
Okay, so see now that the options, you have chat or email. Sometimes you'll have phone call too. So you can chat with them or email them if you need to get a hold of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a new account. Brand new account. This is a brand new account, so the phone option is not there.
Yeah.
But if you have like an account that's been running for a little bit, you'll have the phone option. The chat,
Right.
less than 1 minute wait, and you talk to someone right away. I've used this before. I've used the emails. I've used the phone call. They're all good.
So the phone
Okay.
call, when you click on it, it's a callback, and they'll basically just call you right back, and you answer the phone when they call you, and then you're disconnected.
Mine is only an email option, and then it forces me to the appeal process.
Yeah.
You're kind of suspended.
Yeah, and so every time I appealed it 3 times, but it's like I get a bot responding to it.
Just keep doing it.
Okay. I have the call us option.
So
Let me check.
Willie, when you watch Carlos's initial video about flight setup, he tells you to create a manager account, and then you create your ad account under the manager account. It simplifies it for billing. It simplifies it for business verification. That's what you want to do, because you can get an account individually here suspended, and you can just create another account.
You can't create another flight account though.
You can't create another flight account.
That's when you'll start getting circumventing.
Yeah. Does that make sense, guys?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Any other questions? I got to jump off right now.
Yeah, me too.
Finish this flight landing page now.
Nope, I appreciate the help, guys.
Any questions at all? Spencer, you good?
No. Appreciate it, Conrad.
Tony, Chris, you guys doing all right?
Yeah, they're all working on getting Google accounts right now.
Awesome. All All right, guys. Thank you for jumping on the call today. I appreciate you guys. Thanks, Clayton, for tuning in. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Hey, are you gonna post this recording anywhere? Because Tony.
Yeah, I'll put it on my YouTube channel.
Okay, Tony. Just reach out to Conrad if you don't have his YouTube channel. Not the OnlyFans account, just the YouTube channel.
Just the YouTube channel, not the OnlyFans.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys later.
No problem, guys. Have a safe weekend. Enjoy, have fun, keep learning, guys. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Yeah, bye everyone.